right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RWS channel. I don't know what we're calling these little interview series, but I have another one of my team members here. And this guy, I brought him on because he's so great and wonderful and has a very special thing that our clients love. So I will let him introduce himself. Welcome. Can you please introduce yourself to all the people?
Yeah. No, thanks for the kind words, Anna. My name is Detrick Snyder. I'm a registered dietitian, like everybody else on the team. And I found my niche in the field of compliance. It's kind of related to interpreting scientific research and laying out what that research claims and infusing the advertising and the content marketing and various other things that we do for clients with that perspective of um, maintaining top attention to the compliant or the compliance of the claims that we're trying to make.
So in case people don't know, who are we trying to be compliant for? So, like, why does this matter? Why can't we just say that our product cures all of your ailments?
Sure thing. Yeah, the FDA and the FTC both jointly regulate the claims that we can make. And excuse me, on my second cup of coffee, so maybe I'll slow it
Me
down a
too.
little bit. Don't know where we're going to end up in this conversation. Um, no, the FDA and FTC give clear guidance on the types of things we can say about products generally. Oftentimes we're talking about supplements or food products, but it applies to a gamut of health-related devices and products that people use and that businesses want to market. And so we help clients who have a product that they're trying to sell. We help them bridge the gap between what they're offering, what their customer wants, and what the science says, and trying to triangulate those things to create really irresistible content, uh, but also doing so in a way that maintains fidelity to the science and also satisfies the requirements that the FDA and the FTC give out.
Right. So a lot of
So,
people will
I'll go.
say, like, supplements are not regulated by the FDA, but that's kind of a little bit not 100% true, because what you're talking about really is maybe not a degree of each a regulation of each individual product, but it is a regulation of the industry. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, to your point, there are so many people out there who, and I mean, even professional writers, and I've heard this from registered dietitians. So, if you're a business out there looking to work with somebody, make sure that you've vetted that they are up to date with the most current uh, claims requirements and the regulations around that. But yeah, to your point, a lot of people think that supplements are the Wild West. There's no regulation. However, individual products are definitely regulated after the fact. So
Mhm.
if a business or if a company makes a claim that's just egregiously non-compliant, the FDA can retroactively start regulating that, and they can take a number of actions, starting with a warning letter, and that can escalate all the way to a lawsuit. So I think the key here is taking a look at the documents that the FDA and the FTC provide, I mean, you don't have to become an expert in every, minutia of every regulation, but knowing the general gist so that when you as a writer going to a business, or if you are a business going to a writer, you have an idea of what to expect when it comes to high caliber content. Um, So, I mean, I'm curious, we might be able to go through the different types of services that RWS can provide to people to help lay out from start to finish, where are the steps that you want to maintain your compliance when it comes to making claims about your product? How's that sound?
Sure. That sounds great. So like, let's say you're a supplement company and you're new and you want to be sure that you are compliant with the claims that you're making around your product. So like how, as our team and with you as the sort of brainchild of this area of our offerings, how would you start with that? So I'm brand new.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would say step zero before you even come to us to figure out how to market your product is to make sure you've got an evidence-based product to start with. I think I think this is just the key. You know, if you're a business and you've got a new supplement, you want it to help people for certain issues that they're experiencing. And the best way to know that this product is going to help the intended customer is to have that research that supports it. You know, there's research that uh, it, the breadth of research covers a wide gamut of quality. And so uh, we can help people, you know, turn their products that they thought were supported by, say, really small studies or animal studies, and help to kind of massage the claim, you might say, to ensure that we're not misleading the consumer about the certainty of the intended use of this product. And we're not stepping on the toes of the FDA or the FTC in their advertising and labeling requirements. But we are helping to, yeah, harmonize these those three that I pointed out earlier. You know, what the FDA and FTC require, what the science says, and what the consumer wants. And so I'd say step zero is making sure you've got an evidence-based product.
Right.
And we can certainly cover that in maybe another chat where we can talk about, yeah, product development and research and things like that, and what goes into making a good supplement, an effective supplement or something like that. But then let's say you've got an evidence-based supplement, you're coming to us for uh, getting this product out there. I would say the first step is to um, make sure that you're falling under compliance with FDA. So just to back up a little bit, the FDA is going to be regulating the label of your product itself and the claims made specifically on that label. The FTC will regulate the advertising, the content, the social media presence, everything else that goes around the marketing of that product. So to start, um, we offer label reviews where we review a product's label for the claims and the other kind of text-based requirements, the disclaimers that must be present, the different yeah, all the different requirements that the FDA makes of a supplement label or a food product label. After that label review, there may be some back and forth on kind of how to make these claims, how to present this evidence, different ways of having a quality label that still gets across to the consumer while still maintaining fidelity to the science. And once we've kind of settled on that, uh, those um, those claims that we're making, whether they're structured function claims or qualified health claims similar to other products out there, then we go into the step of claims substantiation. And this is actually a step that a lot of products miss, yet it's just front and center in the first page of the FDA and FTC compliance guide that they create for businesses. So when it comes to claim substantiation, this is essentially, I like to think of it as a systematic literature review. So in the realm of science, systematic literature review is when you essentially conduct an exhaustive search of everything that's been published, every scientific paper that's ever been published on a certain topic. Collect all of that information, synthesize it out, and come up with the certainty of the evidence. What the FTC and FDA call this is the standard for competent and reliable scientific evidence. And so there's a lot of nuances here, like what makes a good randomized controlled trial, How do you caveat claims that are made based off of animal and cell culture studies? There's just so many different nuances and details of how to take that science and turn it into an effective claim that, like I said, gets across to the consumer, gets your message as a product across, and also satisfies the FDA and FTC
So
requirements.
if the FDA, if you just get out there and you're like, I did some research, there's some stuff out there to back up my claims. And let's say they come to you and they're like, well, where's your substantiation paper or where's your information? And you don't have this, like, what is a consequence of that?
That's a great question. The FDA actually gives businesses a 30-day grace period. And this is definitely where a service like RWS, the services that we provide, can really step in. We can rush a systematic literature review, the that claims substantiation document, and get it sent on over to the FDA to help ensure that that company is meeting their requirements. If the FDA sends that warning letter to the business and the business doesn't take action, doesn't start getting their business into compliance with the claim substantiation document, then that escalates to a public warning letter that then the FDA has the authority to stop the production of a product. The FDA has the authority to require a company to correct the wrongs that they have stated. So to do corrective advertising, and nobody wants to say, hey, the advertisement you saw last week was actually wrong and we're being required to update that. So again, start with step 0, an evidence-based product. But that can keep escalating to the point of banning a product, banning an individual, banning a company, or further legal action. So preventing all of that is kind of what we're here to do in keeping in helping businesses keep compliance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then once we have that, all of those like sort of foundational pieces in place, we then work together, with the rest of the team to really start developing some of those marketing messages around those pieces. So talk to me a little bit about like those different parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Once you've kind of satisfied the label requirements of the FDA, then you've got a valid product. It's meeting the compliance requirements, and it's time to get it out there in front of buying customers, right? You want them to help make their lives better with this product, and they probably want to, test this product out and see if it's going to work for them. So then we get into the topic of advertising, content marketing, the suite of marketing resource or services that RWS provides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Additionally,
Mhm.
oh, sorry, go on.
No. Go ahead. That's all. That's it. That's
Oh,
great.
yeah, what I was going to say additionally is that, if many people come to us at various stages in this process, and we're not here to fault anybody for having missed a step here. When you go to and we'll link to it maybe in the description of the video here, you can go to the FTC and the FDA website, and they've got everything laid out there. But to make sure that you've hit every single step is it's kind of a Herculean task. It takes a lot of dotting I's, crossing T's, making sure that all your ducks are in a row. So when people come to us, when businesses come to us, and they've missed a step or something like that, we can certainly provide a compliance review where we review their advertising copy, their website or social media content, newsletters, as well as the substantiation of their claims. If they are under the impression that a couple of studies is all you need in order to make certain types of claims about how a product affects a disease or a state of health, then we can kind of plug in, meet them where they're at, and take their product and elevate it to meeting the compliance requirements that we are so versed in. Um,
Absolutely.
this kind of
Absolutely.
gets into the ongoing
But
support and the expert opinion that we provide.
but those long pages on the FTC and the FDA website, they also make me go cross-eyed, which is why I have you.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm glad that everybody has their specialty. I love reading the, immensely boring legal arguments and the compliance requirements given by the FTC. In any case, though, we'll definitely link out to a few of these. There's a portal of resources that the FDA provides, lots of really rich information there. And then, the FTC and FDA late last year, at the end of 2022, kind of updated their DSHIA of 98 guide. I don't know if that means much to anybody out there, but this new compliance guidance that's been issued by FTC gets really clear on what it takes to make certain types of claims and how to satisfy these compliance requirements. So I think we'll link out to that, and then if people have questions, certainly, we're always open to working with people, collaborating, answering one-off questions, and seeing how we can support our clients.
Sure. So I think that just overall, if you're not an expert really in this space and you don't have the time or the energy to read thousands of legal documents from the government, like you really need to find somebody who has an understanding of that and who is keeping up with the latest, because they do update it from time to time. And, back in the day when I first started writing, like the blog posts were not as much of a concern. And then they started nailing people for stuff they were saying in blog posts, you know what I mean? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that was always part of their regulations, but content marketing wasn't as much of a thing, 10 years ago as it is today. So keeping up with sort of those trends so you don't get the fines, so you don't get those warning letters, so you know you don't
Yeah,
get any of that kind of stuff, like saying, oh, I didn't know, is not really a defense.
certainly.
Because
Yeah,
like you said, it is all there. It is not very fun to read, but that's not saying like I don't like your website isn't a defense either, you know.
totally. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, no, I mean, one quick example that comes to mind, we were working with somebody and making claims about cortisol. And this is not something that the FDA or FTC have ever mentioned directly. You can go through their warning letters. They don't talk about cortisol. You can go through the lawsuits that have kind of informed the updates. Nothing mentioned. However, we do have new guidance on verbiage around inflammation, and we have longstanding guidance around verbiage around specific biomarkers, you might call them, or blood-based markers that indicate a state of health or disease. And
mhm,
being very clear about what we're saying in the context of cortisol in this example is critical, because there's no precedent. We don't have the clear-cut guidance from the FDA or FTC saying that this is how you need to treat a claim about this biomarker. But
mhm,
we do have a number of others that we can use to um, help frame that message and ensure that no matter what happens in the future regarding lawsuits and warning letters and FTC changes in FTC compliance, we know that we're adhering to the essential fundamentals that haven't changed since the FTC and FDA started regulating claims back in 1998, and ensure that this is a claim that you can stand your supplement on for decades into the future. So
mhm.
things like
Absolutely.
that are really where you want to get the opinion of an expert, like the team we've got here at RWS.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much. This is so useful. And I think that a lot of people, we don't have a deep understanding of what it means. Just real quick, if you are an RD, which you are an RD, but if one was an RD and they wanted to learn more about this, like what do you have like one quick piece of advice of where to start? because I think RDs have like a surface level understanding about claims and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can certainly go out online and find a number of blogs from different legal firms or consulting firms, and they'll probably provide a mostly accurate and up-to-date introduction to the topic. But honestly, when it comes to really understanding the ins and outs of these, it's going to the source. It's going to, you know, any registered dietitian out there knows how to read a scientific paper. And I'd encourage them to treat the FTC and the FDA documents that they've got available on their websites as primary literature. You know, go out and read the FTC's Health Products Compliance Guide or the FDA's docket of warning letters. And there's, you know, once you get an idea of the technical language used, it becomes a lot easier to understand what's going on, and you can get a pretty good understanding of what it is to make a compliant or a non-compliant claim in
Sure.
the content marketing space. So go to the source. That's my advice.
Good idea. Good idea. Anyway, thank you so much for this. This was so wonderful. And we are so grateful to have your wonderful knowledge as part of our team because it's really enhanced our confidence with the claims that we can make and the information that you've provided to the rest of the team as well. So it's been great.
Absolutely. No, and likewise, Anna, it's such a pleasure to work with you and with the clients that you attract and the team here. It's such a collaborative and really supportive group. So I
Cool.
look forward to the next time we get to talk.
Awesome. Sounds good.